Picture this. You've just sent what you think is the perfect message. Your heart races as you hit send. Then comes the waiting game, refreshing your phone every 5 seconds, crafting the perfect follow-up text in your head, checking if they're online, telling yourself, they're probably just busy. Sound familiar? We've all been there. But what if I told you that the moment you stop chasing is the moment everything changes? Today, I'm going to show you why stepping back isn't giving up. It's the most powerful move you can make. Here's the harsh truth. When someone consistently doesn't respond with the same energy you're giving, their silence is already your answer. Yet most of us ignore this obvious sign and keep pushing forward, thinking persistence equals devotion. I once knew someone who sent just checking in messages every few days to someone they liked. They thought it showed care, but it actually pushed the person further away. They were running full speed on a treadmill, putting in maximum effort while getting absolutely nowhere. Today we're flipping that script entirely. I'll show you 5 game-changing principles that will transform how you approach relationships and, more importantly, how you value yourself. Let's start with something counterintuitive. Silence is magnetic. Think about your favorite song, the one you can't get out of your head. What makes it stick? It's not just the notes being played. It's the spaces between them. Music without silence would just be noise. The same principle applies to human connection. When you're constantly available, constantly messaging, constantly pursuing, you become background noise. But when you create space, that's when you become unforgettable. Consider this scenario. You walk into a store, and a salesperson immediately approaches you. Can I help you? Are you sure? What about this? How about that? How do you feel? Suffocated, right? You want to leave. Now imagine walking into a different store where the staff acknowledges you with a smile but gives you space to browse. When you need help, they're there. Which experience feels better? The person who respects boundaries and creates space isn't being distant, they're being magnetic. They understand that attraction isn't about constant presence. It's about meaningful presence. Here's where human psychology gets fascinating. We don't appreciate what's always available. It's basic supply and demand, but applied to relationships. When you step back, you trigger something powerful in the other person's mind. Curiosity. Why haven't they messaged me? Did something happen? Are they okay? I'm not talking about manipulation or games. I'm talking about natural human psychology. Think about your closest friendships, the healthy ones. There's a natural ebb and flow. Sometimes you reach out, sometimes they do. It's balanced. But when you're always the one initiating, always the one reaching out, always the one making effort, you've created an imbalanced dynamic. The other person gets comfortable knowing you'll always be there, so they stop making effort. By stepping back, you're not playing hard to get. You're demonstrating that you have a life worth living, interests worth pursuing, and standards worth maintaining. The key question becomes, if someone doesn't notice your absence, do you really want to invest your precious time and energy in someone who doesn't value your presence? Now comes the exciting part, redirecting all that energy you were spending on someone else back into yourself. Instead of analyzing their social media activity or crafting the perfect message, channel that mental energy into your growth. Ask yourself, what's one thing I've been putting off that could improve my life? Maybe it's finally starting that fitness routine, learning a new skill, reading that book that's been gathering dust, or reconnecting with friends you've neglected while obsessing over someone who doesn't reciprocate your energy. I heard about someone who, after a difficult romantic situation, decided to train for their first triathlon. Not only did they transform physically, but the discipline required changed their entire mindset. By the time their former interest reached out months later, they had become someone completely different, someone who knew their worth. The beautiful irony? When you become genuinely invested in your own growth, you naturally become more attractive, not just to that specific person, but to everyone around you. Confidence isn't something you fake. It's something you build through accomplishing goals and becoming the person you're proud to be. Here's what happens. Instead of being the person who's always available, always waiting, you become the person who's genuinely busy building something meaningful. And that energy? It's contagious. Something magical happens when you step back and focus on yourself. You gain crystal clear perspective. It's like cleaning a foggy mirror. At first, everything looks blurry and confusing. But as you wipe away the emotional residue, you start seeing the situation for what it actually is, not what you hoped it would become. You might realize that their actions never matched their words, or that you were making excuses for behavior you wouldn't accept from anyone else in your life, or that you were so focused on winning their attention that you forgot to ask yourself if they were even worth your attention. This clarity extends beyond just understanding them. It helps you understand yourself. What do you actually want in a partner? What are your non-negotiables? What kind of treatment do you deserve? When you have this clarity, something powerful shifts. You stop being willing to settle for crumbs of attention. You stop making excuses for people who don't prioritize you. You start holding yourself and others to higher standards. The most liberating realization? You deserve someone who chooses you consistently, not someone you have to convince to notice you. Here's what often happens when you implement these principles. They reach out. But here's the crucial part. When someone comes back into your life after you've stepped away, their return doesn't automatically mean they're ready to give you what you want. It could be curiosity, boredom, or simply the realization that their constant admirer is no longer constantly admiring. Your job is to stay grounded in your newfound self-respect. Don't immediately fall back into old patterns of overinvesting or overanalyzing every word they say. Take time to observe their actions, not just their words. Are they making real effort? Or are they just testing to see if you're still available? Are they meeting you halfway? Or are they expecting you to do all the emotional heavy lifting again? Remember, when you truly value yourself, you're not afraid to lose someone who doesn't match your energy. Why? Because you know that the right person won't make you question your worth or play guessing games with your emotions. The right person will be consistent. They'll communicate clearly. They'll make you feel chosen, not like you're competing for their attention. So here's where we land. This entire journey isn't really about them. It's about you reclaiming your power. Every time you choose to walk away from someone who doesn't value you, you're making a statement to yourself and the world. I know what I'm worth, and I won't settle for less. Think about every success story you know in love, career, or life. They all start with the same decision. I deserve better than this. The moment you stop settling is the moment you start thriving. Here's my challenge for you. Are you ready to stop chasing people who don't see your value and start living like someone who knows their worth? Because when you make that shift, when you focus on becoming the best version of yourself rather than trying to convince someone else to notice you, everything changes. You don't just change the game. You become the one setting the rules. The most attractive thing you can ever be is someone who knows their value and isn't afraid to walk away from anything less than they deserve. Your worth isn't determined by whether someone texts you back. Your value isn't measured by how much attention someone gives you. You are complete on your own, and the right person will recognize and celebrate that completeness, not try to fix or complete you. So stop waiting, stop chasing, start becoming the person you're meant to be. Because when you focus on yourself, you don't just improve your love life, you improve your entire life. The choice is yours. Will you continue running on that treadmill, or will you step off and start walking towards something real? You've got this.